Hey guys, want to do a quick comparison video between these two. I don't have my Cambridge Clarion here, but as soon as I get it, I might erase this video and do another with all three. You have Schuyler, Allan, and Cambridge personal size Bibles. Now granted, they're not 100% comparable. Now this Allan is a goat skin and the Schuyler is calf skin. The Schuyler is a paste down, the Allan's a edge lined, leather lined cover. I'm not going to be reviewing the covers, just the layout and the print and stuff like that. So just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of how these stack up against each other. So whenever we're looking at the personal size Quintel or the Allan personal size reference Bible, it's a matter of portability and ease of holding and carrying and all that good stuff. Otherwise you'd carry a bigger Bible. So when comparing the two, the personal size Quintel is a little smaller, a little lighter, a little thinner than the personal reference. And the at least the Allan's marks will be for the cover. Their cover is way better. Even when we're looking at the goat skin PSQ, I think the Allan is better. So anyway, let me open it up, and as far as the layout and whatnot, I think the edge probably goes to the PSQ. Even though it's a double column layout, where the personal reference is a single column. All right, so when we're looking at the personal size Quintel, this is an 8.5 point font. Now it's double column. It's verse by verse, so it's easy to find your verses, especially if you're preaching. Easy to read. 8.5 point font there's a big difference between an 8.5 in the Quintel, the PSQ, and a 7.5 in the Allan. So it's a pretty big difference in font size. Let me find Psalm 78 where I'm at in the PSQ, and we can do an apples to apples comparison. So if I can get there, we'll see. So there's Psalm 78, 22. So it's basically this page and this page. You can see that there's a big difference in readability. I'm equal distance from both of them, and there's a big difference in the 8.5 point font and the 7.5 point font. It's just a big difference, and I think there's a little more ghosting in the personal reference edition rather than the Quintel. So it's just something to keep in mind. The art gilding, they both are art gilded. This apples to apples. Both are beautifully sprayed with gold on the page edges. One big difference that might be maybe it's just a small thing. The Allan comes with 3 10mm Beresford ribbons that are beautiful. I love them. I love having the 3 thick ribbons, where the Quintel only has 2 smaller, thinner ribbons. Now, I've had some people that I do rebinds for, they prefer the smaller ribbons because it does less indentation to the paper whenever they're keeping them closed for a while. That's just their own preference, which is fine, and I'm not going to argue that. But for me personally, I like the thicker ribbons. The Allan is just, has a little more body to it. But if we're just doing reading and study, I like how the references here are easily read. They're a good size font, where if you look right here, I have to squint to read these references. And the references are in this gutter. It's what we call the gutter right here. And so if I have a ribbon there, let's move this ribbon to that page. If I have a ribbon there, it's going to cover, I have to move the ribbon and all that mess. Where in the Quintel, one, it's much easier to find because you have different color. You have red for the verse numbers, black for the reference. So it's easier to find your references, and they're much, much bigger than what's in the Allan personal size. So I just really have fallen in love with this PSQ. And I'm not a small Bible guy. I mean, these are the only two small Bibles I have, aside from the Clarion that's coming in, and I'm going to review it. But I've had a Clarion before, and before I started doing reviews, and it never captivated me like this personal size Quintel. So as far as the layout and beauty, I give the edge to the PSQ. When we're talking about all around, it's going to be a draw. I mean, it's really a draw. The Quintel wins the day because of their layout. I mean, that 2K Denmark font, their layout with the references at the bottom. I love a double column. I love the verse by verse. I mean, both of them are verse by verse. When you get to the back, well, I mean, the Psalms, this one is not verse by verse in its paragraph format, but in the Psalms it was. But I think that's pretty normal. Where this one is, well, I'm sorry, it's paragraph as well. It's verse by verse in the Psalms and poetic stuff, but it's verse by verse as well. But it's black text. I think this one's black letter text as well. I mean, they're very comparable. But anyway, I just really love the personal size. It's a little smaller, a little more condensed, but the font's bigger, a little easier to read, and a little easier to reference with. And so I really enjoy it. I think it's hard to beat. I look forward to getting a goatskin edition of the PSQ to really give a apples to apples comparison between these two editions. And I really think my partiality and my bias toward the Schuyler layout will make that a really unfair comparison, in my opinion. So anyway, that's just a quick look at both of them side by side. For me, the Schuyler is way better. I mean, if I had to choose one, I know this one is that Buttero calf skin, which is awesome, but it's a paste down. It's much stiffer than this beautifully. You have your edge lining, your leather liner, goat skin cover. You know, as far as those things, this one's way better. But if I had to pick one of the two right now, which one am I going to read more? It's still going to be this one, because I don't really care about the cover when I'm reading, and if it's going to allow me to read a few more minutes, a few more lines, a few more pages, because this text is a little larger, then that's what I want. So anyway, thought it was really cool to see them side by side. You know, they're similar in size, and most people that are fans of personal size editions have both of these. So and if you were wondering if you should get a PSQ, but you already got an Allan, I know this is an ESV and this is an NASB, but they have a ESV PSQ as well, in calfskin and in goatskin. So there's options out there. So anyway, just wanted to show you this quick comparison and let you guys kind of see some of the differences between the personal size giants. So anyway, guys, thank you again for watching, and God bless you guys. Remember to check out the giveaway for this month. It's a Systematic Theology Study Bible from Crossway. Take care, and God bless.